My sponsor told me that you guys are a little bit different than Scandinavians.
Moj sponsor mi je rekao da ste vi malo drugačiji od nas Skandinavaca.
And now I see why.
I sad vidim zašto.
You guys are fired up.
Vi ste zapaljeni.
And you should be.
I trebate biti.
Because you're in the best business in the world.
Zato jer ste u najboljem poslu na svijetu.
Wow, congratulations to all the recognition up here.
Čestitam svim priznanjima ovdje.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Reći ću vam tajnu.
This all recognition is from Croatia, right?
Sva ova priznanja su iz Hrvatske.
Scandinavia and Sweden
Skandinavci i Šveđani.
has been open since 1st of July 99.
Skandinavija je otvorena od 1.6.99.
Almost 2 years.
Skoro 2 godine.
And you have more recognition from a country that is not opened.
I vi imate više priznanja iz zemlje koja još nije otvorena.
That is
To je
fantastic.
fantastično.
That's unbelievable.
To je nevjerojatno.
I was just sitting here
Sad sam sjedio ovdje
with my mouth open.
s otvorenim ustima.
I mean, you're something else.
Vi ste nešto drugo, nešto drugačije.
So give yourself a round of applause again.
Dajte si jedan veliki aplauz ponovno.
Okay.
U redu.
Now I'm going to go into more details about how to get up here on stage
Sad ću preći na nešto detalja kako doći na ovu binu
and maintaining the business.
i kako zadržati posao.
So you don't get up here
Tako da ne dođete ovdje
and then you have to sit back down again and don't come up for a couple of months.
i onda opet sjednete dolje i nema vas tu par mjeseci.
I'm going to go through 10 points.
Proći ću 10 točaka.
10 points. And the leaders are laughing because I messed up on the 20 points.
Lideri se smiju zbog zbrke na 20 plus sastanku.
Okay, number 1.
Broj 1.
You need to have a reason,
Morate imati razlog.
a dream,
San,
a nightmare,
noćnu moru.
a why.
Zašto?
That is different for every person.
To je različito za svaku osobu.
It can be money,
Može biti novac,
it can be time,
može biti vrijeme,
it can be friends.
mogu biti prijatelji.
It's different for all of you.
To je različito za sve vas.
Some of my front lines,
Neki od mojih frontova
they have 3 reasons.
imaju 3 razloga.
It's money,
Novac,
money,
novac,
money.
novac.
Some other have different.
Neki drugi imaju različite.
It's extremely important that you sit down with your wife or your husband
Veoma je važno da sjednete zajedno sa svojom suprugom
and think about why are we doing this?
i da razmislite zašto mi radimo ovaj posao.
Because the dream
Zato jer je san
is what gives you power.
ono što vam daje snagu.
When you're out working,
Kad vani radite,
it's never going to go the way you want.
nikad neće ići onako kako ste isplanirali.
And if you have a big enough dream,
I ako imate dovoljno jak san,
it doesn't matter.
nije važno.
You think all of these silvers and golds
Mislite da svi ovi silveri i goldi
and 18%ers and everything else,
i 18% i
do
ostali,
you think it just went easily, just day by day, and then they cruised in at 21%?
zar mislite da su samo toliko jednostavno došli ovdje?
There were many days
Mnogo dana
when they was thinking,
je bilo kad su razmišljali,
I wonder if this is going to work.
pitam se da li to djeluje.
I wonder if we're going to get the volume this month.
Pitam se da li ćemo ovaj mjesec dobiti volumen.
Some of their friends
Neki od njihovih prijatelja
has probably told them, that won't work.
su im vjerojatno rekli, to neće djelovati.
But obviously,
Ali očito,
they had a dream
oni imaju jak san,
that was a lot bigger
imaju san koji je bio mnogo jači
than their fear.
od strahova.
Because when your dream is bigger than your fear,
Zato jer kad je vaš san jači od strahova,
you're going to win.
pobijedit ćete.
You're going to get exactly what you want.
Dobit ćete točno to što vi želite.
And what you want
I ono što vi želite
is what you're going to write down.
je ono što ćete zapisati.
If it's 21%,
Ako je to 21%,
if it's platinum,
ako je platina
or whatever, emerald,
ili bilo što, emerald,
diamond,
diamond,
you need to write it down.
trebate to zapisati.
Because that's the fuel in the car.
Zato jer to je ono gorivo u autu.
It's a very hard subject to talk about in Scandinavia.
To je vrlo čvrsta tema za razgovor u Skandinaviji.
There we have to talk about a reason.
Kad moramo govoriti o razlogu.
But I think you're more into the dream down here.
Mislim da ste vi ovdje više zapaljeni za san.
Yeah. But it is as important as the fuel in your car.
Ali isto tako važno kao što je gorivo u vašem autu.
It doesn't matter if this is a Mercedes
Bez obzira da li je to Mercedes,
and this is a Skoda.
to je i ovo drugo Škoda.
You want to get from Ljubljana to Zagreb?
Želite doći iz Ljubljane u Zagreb,
The BMW
BMW,
doesn't have any gas.
ako nema goriva,
The Skoda
Škoda
has gas.
ima goriva.
You'll have to take the Skoda
Morate uzeti Škodu
if you want to get to Zagreb.
ako želite doći do Zagreba.
Because the BMW,
Zato jer BMW
it's heavy to push.
je težak za gurati.
If you're sitting in here
Ako sjedite ovdje
as an engineer
kao inženjer
or some other with high education,
ili neki sa još višim obrazovanjem,
you have maybe what you say a BMW.
možda imate BMW.
But if you don't put any gas in it,
Ali ako unutra ne stavite benzina,
it will not take you where you want to go.
neće vas odvesti tamo gdje želite.
And through your job, you will
Because-
never get where you want to go.
I kroz vaš posao nikad nećete doći tamo gdje želite.
Your neighbor
Vaš susjed
might be a farmer,
može biti farmer,
but he has a lot of gas in his car.
ali on ima mnogo benzina u svom autu.
And he's going to get to his freedom
I on će doći do svoje slobode
before the person that has less gas.
prije osobe koja ima manje benzina.
That's extremely important.
To je vrlo važno.
And my gas tank is full right now
Moj benzin je sad pun,
after seeing all you guys.
nakon što sam vidio vas sve.
When I'm going to come back up
Kad se vratim u Švedsku
and somebody's going to say, the product delivery was 2 days late.
i kad neko kaže, dosta proizvoda kasni 2 dana,
Next.
sljedeći,
I mean, I was just told that you come here to pick up your products.
meni su upravo rekli da vi dolazite ovdje po proizvode.
That's amazing.
To je čudesno.
You're just amazing, I must tell you.
Vi ste stvarno nevjerojatni. Moram vam to reći.
Okay, back into point number 1.
Ok, nazad na točku broj 1.
You sit down with your family and say, okay, why are we going to spend these 2, 3, 4, 5 years of our life?
Sjednite doma sa svojom familijom i recite zašto ćemo mi potrošiti sljedeće 2, 3, 4, 5 godina
To get something different.
da bi dobili nešto drugačije.
When you have that down,
Kad ste to obavili,
write it down,
zapišite,
put it on your fridge,
zalijepite na vaš frižider,
put it on your wall,
na vaš zid,
so you can see it all the time.
tako da možete uvijek vidjeti.
So when your friends come over,
Tako kad vaši prijatelji dođu
they ask you, what's that?
i pitaju vas što je to,
I love to show you.
volio bih ti pokazati.
I mean, how to get it.
Mislim kako doći do toga.
When you have your reason,
Kad imate vaš razlog,
you have to get into point number 2,
morate doći do točke broj 2.
and that is showing the plan.
I to je pokazivati plan.
My sponsor told me
Moj sponzor mi je rekao
100%
100%
of the people
ljudi
that don't see the plan
koji ne vide plan
won't get in.
neće ući unutra.
So you have to start showing the plan.
Tako da morate početi pokazivati plan.
You saw some silver and gold eagles.
Vidjeli ste ovdje neke srebrne i zlatne orlove.
They're showing the plan
Oni pokazuju plan
15 to 30 times a month.
15 do 30 puta mjesečno.
That's what it takes.
To je ono što je potrebno.
You have to show at least 15 to 30 plans a month.
Morate pokazivati najmanje 15 do 30 planova na mjesec.
If you want to grow fast,
Ako želite rasti brzo,
you show more.
pokazujete više.
Depending on how big your goal is
Ovisno o tome koliko je velik vaš cilj
and how fast you want to get there.
i koliko brzo želite tamo doći.
It's all in showing the plan.
Sve je u pokazivanju plana.
And afterwards, after you show the plan,
I poslije toga, nakon što pokažete plan,
you give them an info pack,
date im info paket,
set a time
dogovorite vrijeme,
when you're going to come and pick it up.
kad ćete doći po info paket.
Have the system work for you.
Dajte da sistem radi za vas.
Very important.
Vrlo važno.
That was one of the biggest problems I did in the beginning.
To je bio jedan od najvećih problema koje sam ja napravio na početku.
I was trying to convince people
Ja sam pokušao uvjeriti ljude
how good this business is.
Koliko je ovaj posao dobar.
You can't convince anybody.
Ne možete uvjeriti nikoga.
Let the system work for you.
Dajte da sistem radi za vas.
Because when your group gets bigger,
Zato jer kad vaša grupa raste,
you could only be in one place.
možete biti samo na jednom mjestu.
The cassette tapes
Kasete
can be everywhere.
mogu biti svugdje.
That's the power of the cassette tapes. I'll come back to them later.
To je moć kaseta i o tome ću se još poslije vratiti.
So, number 2 is showing the plan.
Tako, broj 2 je pokazivanje planova.
Point number 3,
Točka broj 3.
use the products.
Koristite proizvode.
When I got into this business,
Kad sam se ja pridružio ovom poslu,
I was using some of the products,
koristio sam neke od proizvoda,
not all of them,
ne baš sve,
but that's why it didn't grow.
ali zato nisam rasao.
Because your downline
Zato jer vaš downline
will do exactly the same as I did.
će uraditi isto što sam ja uradio.
When they come to the upline's place,
Kad dođu do mjesta gdje živi upline,
they go into the bathroom,
doći će u kupovnicu
and what do they do?
i što pogledaju?
They go and look in the closet.
Oni otvaraju ormariće
Are they using the products?
i provjeravaju da li koriste proizvode.
This business is built on trust.
Ovaj posao je izgrađen na povjerenju.
If you have a person coming into your home,
Ako osoba dolazi k vama doma
and you have a toothpaste called, I can't even pronounce it anymore,
i imate
Colgate
Colgate zubnu pastu
or some other products,
ili bilo koji drugi proizvod,
the person is not going to trust you anymore.
osoba vam više neće vjerovati.
I did the same to my upline.
Ja sam uradio isto svojem uplineu.
They were always talking so strong about the products,
Oni su uvijek toliko glasno govorili o proizvodima
and we went to a weekend seminar in Los Angeles,
i otišli smo na vikend seminar u Los Angeles
and I went into their room for some reason,
i otišao sam u njihovu sobu zbog nekog razloga
and I went into the bathroom,
i otišao sam u kupovnicu
and I did the same thing.
i uradio sam istu stvar.
And then I could find one hairspray
I mogao sam pronaći jedan sprej za kosu
that was not satanic.
koji nije bio satanik.
And I'm start thinking,
I počeo sam razmišljati.
she's always talking so strong about those products,
Uvijek toliko snažno govori o tim proizvodima
and she's not using the hairspray.
i ne koristi sprej za kosu.
And a lot of doubt start coming into me.
I mnogo sumnje je počelo dolaziti u mene.
I wonder, maybe it's not working the way she's telling me.
Počeo sam razmišljati, možda ovo ne djeluje na način na koji mi je ona govorila.
So I was confused.
Tako da sam bio zbunjen.
We went back to the seminar like, hey.
Otišao sam ponovno na seminar
And I was thinking,
i razmišljao.
after we had dinner,
Poslije večere,
and she always, you know how Americans are, they're like hair, like all over.
poslije večere, znate kakvi su
And
Amerikanci.
she always put a lot of hairspray in her hair.
Uvijek stavlja puno spreja za kosu.
And today the hair was a little bit different.
I ovaj puta njezin sprej je bio malo drugačiji.
During the dinner,
Tokom večeri,
she said, oh, I forgot my hairspray at home,
rekla je, zaboravila sam svoj sprej za kosu kod kuće
and I had to buy something else.
i morala sam kupiti nešto drugo.
And she said, it's not near as good as satanic.
Nije niti približno toliko dobro kao satanik.
And I said, yes.
Ja sam rekao da.
That's just a small point that could kill your growth.
To je samo jedna mala točka koja može ubiti vaš rast.
Because doubt
Zato jer sumnja,
is the biggest enemy in this business.
zato jer je sumnja najveći neprijatelj u ovom poslu.
And if you don't use the products,
I ako ne koristite proizvode,
nobody's going to listen to you.
nitko vas neće slušati.
So, then we're coming into this tape program.
Tako dolazimo na...
That will be point number 3. No,
Four.
4.
Točka broj 4, kasete.
Okay. Do you have a recommended tape program in Croatia?
Da li imate preporučeni? Da,
Okay.
imamo.
At home they're complaining, hey, our RTs are 2 days late.
Kod nas se žale da su RT 2 dana kasne.
Because they get them in the mail.
Zato jer ih dobiju kroz mail.
They're spoiled.
Razmaženi su.
Yes. Here, I think you have a better way of distributing.
Mislim da ovdje su bolji način distribucije.
Okay, the RT program for all you engineers
RT program za sve vas inženjere
that want formulas,
koji želite formule,
I have a formula for you.
imam formulu za vas.
This is one thing my upline told me.
To je jedna stvar koju mi je moj upline.
Peter told me that RT
Peter mi je rekao da je RT
it's extremely important.
vrlo važan.
And RT times 100
I RT puta 100
equals your PV,
jednak je vašem PV-u.
long term.
Dugoročno.
I know that somebody can go silver,
Znam da neko od vas može ići na 21,
without having 100 RTs in their group.
bez da ima 100 RT-a u grupi.
And if I say something today
I ako ja kažem danas nešto ovdje,
that is not correct in your group,
što nije točno u vašoj grupi,
you should always check upline.
uvijek provjerite kod uplina.
This is a Scandinavian vital signs.
Ovo je skandinavski vitalni znak.
We only have 65 products.
Mi imamo samo 65 proizvoda.
This might be a lot lower here.
Ovdje to može biti i niže.
It depends.
Ovisi.
But anyway, the RT program,
Ali ipak RT program,
it continues.
to je ono što je dugoročno.
It's what makes it work.
Ono što će uraditi da stvar djeluje.
It's because of the tapes
Zbog kaseta,
that I'm standing here.
ja stojim danas ovdje.
You see, when I saw this business,
Jer kad sam vidio ovaj posao,
I saw what a great business.
razmišljao sam kakav odličan posao.
If I don't have to show it to anybody
Ako ga ne moram pokazati nikome
and don't talk to anybody about it.
i ne govorimo nikome o tome.
This was my nightmare.
Ovo je bila moja noćna mora.
But after listening to tapes over and over and over,
Ali nakon što sam slušao kasete ponovno i ponovno,
anybody can stand here.
svatko može ovdje stajati.
It's not much Holmberg speaking.
Nije baš tu puno teško za govoriti.
It's Bob Andrews,
Nije tu Mac koji govore, to je Bob Andrews,
Peter Cox,
Peter Cox
and all the other diamonds.
i svi ostali dijamanti.
Because I have listened over and over and over again.
Zato jer ja sam slušao ponovno i ponovno sve to.
And for you to be able to get your group motivated
I da bi vi uspjeli motivirati svoju grupu
and how to do things,
i kako da to uradite,
you need to promote the RT program.
morate promovirati RT program.
That's where they learn.
Tu je ono gdje uče.
Point number 5,
Točka broj 5.
books.
Knjige.
As I told you earlier,
Kao što sam vam prije rekao,
I have extremely difficulties in reading books.
imam velike poteškoće u čitanju knjiga.
Anybody can relate to that?
Da li se može još neko poistovjetiti s time?
Oh, you're going to be a winner.
Vi ćete biti pobjednik.
My upline in the US
Moj upline u Americi
told me you should read books.
mi je rekao ti moraš čitati knjige.
I said, yeah.
Rekao sam da.
I'm listening to tapes.
Slušam kasete,
No, you should also read books.
ali bih isto trebao i čitati knjige.
He told me you should read 15 minutes a day.
Rekao mi je trebao bih čitati 15 minuta dnevno.
So he gave me a book
Kad mi je dao knjigu
called The Magic of Thinking Big.
koja se zvala Magija velikopoteznog mišljenja,
How many have read it?
koliko od vas je to pročitao tu knjigu?
For all of you others,
Za sve ostale,
if you understand English,
ako razumijete engleski,
read it.
pročitajte ju.
In that book,
U toj knjizi
it's talking about 90% of your success in life
govore o 90% vaših uspjeha u životu
is attitude,
je odnos,
10% is knowledge.
10% je znanje.
And for all you high educated people,
I za vas sve visoko obrazovane ljude,
what did they tell us in school?
što su nam rekli u školi?
90% of your success is knowledge
90% uspjeha je znanje,
and 10% is other.
10% je sve ostalo.
At least that's what they told me.
Bar to su meni rekli.
So, I was an engineer and I read this
Bio sam inženjer
and I thought, that sounds interesting.
i razmišljao sam, ovo izgleda zanimljivo,
I'll try it.
vjerojatno ću pokušati.
So I decided
Tako sam odlučio,
for 6 months I'm going to be positive
6 mjeseci bit ću pozitivan
and solution oriented
i orijentiran na rješenja.
and see what happens.
I vidjet ću što će se desiti.
So I came to work
Došao sam na posao
with a smile.
sa smješkom
Said it's great to be at work today.
i rekao sam, odlično je biti opet na poslu.
I had work up here.
Imao sam posla preko glave.
All my other colleagues at work,
Svi moji ostali kolege na poslu
they came in as always.
uvijek su me vidjeli da dolazim umoran, smušen.
I thought I'm going to be positive and happy about my future.
Rekao sam, bit ću pozitivan i sretan za svoju budućnost.
6 months later,
6 mjeseci nakon toga,
my boss walked up to me.
šef je došao do mene.
Hey, it's going great.
Ej, ide ti odlično.
This last 6 months has been very good for you.
Zadnjih 6 mjeseci je bilo odlično za tebe.
How come?
Kako to?
I wanted to say,
Želio sam reći,
I'm going to get out of here.
otići ću odavde.
But we were going to have negotiations about salaries later on.
Ali slijedi su pregovori oko plaće,
So I couldn't say that.
tako da nisam to mogao reći.
But that was the day
Ali to je bio dan
I realized
kad sam shvatio
that I can decide about my future.
da ja mogu odlučiti o svojoj budućnosti.
So can you.
Isto tako možete vi.
Anybody
Bilo tko od vas
can be successful at this
može biti uspješan u
if
ovome
you choose to.
ako odlučite tako.
For the ones that understand English,
Za oni koji razumiju engleski,
this is a book,
ovo je knjiga
it's named Becoming a Person of Influence.
Kako postati utjecajna osoba.
I don't know if you have it here.
Da, imamo.
Oh, you
Yes,
do?
yes.
Okay. It's by Jim Dornan and John Maxwell.
Knjiga od Jim Dornana i John Maxwella.
It will help you
To će vam pomoći
in your career
u vašoj karijeri
and in this business.
i u ovom poslu.
And there's a lot of other books.
I ima još mnogo drugih knjiga.
Tells you about how to get along with your family.
Govore vam kako da budete uspješni doma kod kuće, kako
And
da
with-
se slažete kod kuće
Okay, and with your downline.
i sa vašim downlineima.
Okay, that was books.
To
Then you
su
have
bile
to,
knjige.
yeah. Then we're gonna go over to point 6.
Preći ćemo na točku 6.
And it is a team player.
Timski igrač.
Everybody has to be a team player.
Svatko mora biti timski igrač.
To your upline
Do vašeg uplina
and to your
i
downline.
do vaših downlinea.
And during the recognition,
I tokom priznanja
and I could see that there's a lot of team players in this room.
vidio sam da ovdje ima mnogo timskih igrača.
That's why you're growing.
Zato rastete.
It's the backbone of this business.
To je kralježnica ovog posla.
And in team player, what do we talk about?
I u timskom radu o čemu govorimo?
We talk about, you could also read through this in here,
Govorimo to što možete pročitati u sistemu uspjeha.
in System Uspea.
Yes.
Okay, System Uspea. This is a very, very extremely important tool.
To je veoma, veoma važan alat.
When we do a presentation,
Kad mi radimo predstavljanje posla,
we talk about this as the, what do you have way back in your math book in school?
govorimo o tome kao da je to čitanka ovog posla.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I heard the word cheat, and I think that's what you, yeah.
Čuo sam riječ varati.
In Swedish, we have a word called facit. That's what it's called. That's where all the answers are to your math problems.
Mi imamo riječ, ne znam, zbirka, vjerojatno, u matematici, tamo gdje su svi odgovori.
Yeah. And in math in school,
U matematici u školi
most of us looked in the back of the book to get the result.
gleda otraga na kraj knjige da vidi rezultat.
According to the teacher,
Prema učitelju,
you were not allowed to do that.
vi to ne bi smjeli uraditi.
In this business, you have to.
U ovom poslu morate.
You have to look back for the answers before you start working.
U ovom poslu morate pogledati nazad u odgovore prije nego što počnete raditi.
A more similar thing
Sličnija stvar
could be like a cookbook
bi mogla biti knjiga kuharica
for preparing food.
za pripremanje hrane.
I'm not very good at preparing food,
Ja nisam previše dobar u pripremanju hrane,
so if I would look at the recipe,
tako da ako ću htjeti gledati recepte,
I could go to the store
mogu otići do dućana
and pick up the things I need,
i kupiti stvari koje trebam,
put it in a big pan,
staviti u veliki lonac,
put some water on,
staviti unutra nešto vode,
put it in the oven.
staviti u štednjak,
45 minutes later,
45 minuta kasnije
I'll take it out.
uzet ću to pogledati i reći,
That doesn't look good.
to ne izgleda previše dobro.
That's what a lot of people do in this business.
To je ono što veliki broj ljudi radi u ovom poslu.
But what's a better solution?
Ono što je bolje rješenje,
Look in the cookbook.
pogledajte u kuharicu
It says, okay, remove the plastic. Remove the plastic.
i recite, ok, izvadite plastiku,
Melt the butter. Melt the butter.
rastopite maslac
And if you follow, prepare according to the recipe,
i ako ćete slijediti prema receptu,
when you put it in the oven,
kad stavite u štednjak,
you're going to get a nice dinner when you take it out.
dobit ćete krasnu večeru kad izvadite.
This is your cookbook.
Ovo je vaša kuharica.
Follow it.
Slijedite je.
In here, you could read in more detail about team player.
Ovdje možete pročitati više detalja oko timskog rada.
Team player has to do with no crosslining,
Timski rad znači ne crossline,
counseling,
konzultacije
and edification.
i edifikacija.
And you could talk with your upline more about those details.
I razgovarate sa svojim uplinom malo više o tome.
But read this book.
Ali pročitajte ovu knjižicu.
Okay, point number 7.
Točka broj 7.
You have to have a monthly goal
Morate imati mjesečni cilj
or a goal for the next weekend.
ili cilj za sljedeći vikend.
You're all sitting in here.
Svi ovdje sjedite
If you don't have this weekend seminar ticket,
i ako nemate ovu vikend seminar kartu,
your first goal is to get one.
vaš prvi cilj je da ju dobite.
After that,
Poslije toga,
your goal is to figure out how many can I get to this seminar.
poslije toga vaš cilj je koliko ljudi mogu dovesti na taj seminar.
Put up your goals from month to month.
Postavite svoje ciljeve od mjeseca do mjeseca.
That's like your roadmap,
To je kao vaša mapa.
where you are going.
Kamo idete?
If you're like me,
Ako ste kao ja,
been working for a long time
radili ste jako dugo
in the beginning,
u početku
and I did not have a whole lot of results,
i ja nisam imao puno rezultata,
it's extremely easy to look back and see what has happened.
vrlo jednostavno je pogledati iza, pogledati što se desilo.
And when you put up a goal,
I kad postavite cilj
you're thinking about how it's been before,
i razmišljate kako je bilo prije
and you think that goal is too big, and then you make a smaller one.
i razmišljate ovaj cilj je prevelik, postavit ćemo manji cilj.
Don't do that.
Nemojte to raditi.
That's exactly like driving a car.
To je isto kao da vozite auto
You have the whole windscreen
i imate cijelo staklo naprijed,
to look at the road where you're going.
da gledate put kud idete,
You have a small rear mirror.
imate malo ogledalo, retrovizor.
Some people in this business
Neki ljudi u ovom poslu
is trying to drive this car,
pokušavaju voziti taj auto,
looking in the mirror what's happened before.
gledajući u retrovizor što se desilo iza.
Then you can drive off the road.
Onda slijedite s ceste.
So extremely important to put up a goal and look forward where you want to go.
Ono što je veoma važno da postavite cilj i gledate naprijed što će se desiti.
For a short-term goal
Za kratkoročni cilj
and a long-term goal.
i dugoročni cilj.
I don't know if you've heard,
Ne znam da li ste čuli,
but Nancy Dornan says
ali Nancy Dornan kaže
the difference between working with a goal
razlika između raditi sa ciljem
and working without a
i
goal
raditi bez cilja
is results.
je rezultat.
And I guess results is what you want, right?
I ja mislim da je rezultat ono što vi želite. Točno?
Yeah.
Da.
In the beginning when I started to set up goals,
U početku kad sam ja počeo postaviti ciljeve,
the goal looked too big.
ciljevi su izgledali preveliki.
And I came and asked my upline,
I došao sam pitati svog kaplana,
this looks like I'm going to be eating an elephant.
izgleda da će to biti kao da jedem slona.
And I asked him, how do you eat an elephant?
I pitao sam kako da pojedeš slona.
Very easy.
Vrlo jednostavno.
One bite at a time.
Komad po komad.
Some people when they get in this business,
Neki ljudi kad uđu u ovaj posao,
they look at some big goal
gledaju neki velik cilj
and say that's too big.
i razmišljaju to je preveliko.
That's why you put it down in small parts.
Zato to razdijelite u manje dijelove.
It's a lot easier to control.
Mnogo je lakše kontrolirati.
And when you help somebody set a goal,
I kad pomognete nekome da postavi cilj
if they want to have 20 RTs
i želite da on ima 20 RT-a
in a certain period of time,
u nekom određenom vremenu,
split it up in smaller chunks of time
podijelite to u manje
and just focus on the next goal, on just a small part.
i samo se fokusirajte na sljedeći manji dio.
Because if you give it too big of a chunk right away,
Jer ako odmah stavite prevelik cilj,
they're going to think, oh, that's too big.
razmišljate, to ne mogu raditi.
But once again, like my American upline told me,
Ali još jednom kako mi je moj američki upline rekao,
he told me, sponsor 20 front line.
rekao mi je sponzoriraj 20 frontova.
Has anyone heard sponsor 20 or 30 front line?
Je li netko već čuo sponzorirajte 20 frontova?
Okay. Has anybody ever had a problem with that?
Da li je neko imao probleme s tim?
Okay. Then do what I was told.
Onda uradite ono što je meni rečeno.
He asked me, do you think you can sponsor one front line?
Pita me da li misliš da možeš sponzorirati jednog?
Who can sponsor one front line?
Tko može sponzorirati jednog fronta?
Almost all of you.
Skoro svi.
Right.
Odlično.
Do that 20 times.
Uradite to 20 puta.
And you will have your 20 front line.
I imat ćete vaših 20 frontova.
Point number 8.
Točka broj 8.
Attitude.
Odnos.
Attitude is everything.
Odnos je sve.
Have you had a tape called Attitude is Everything by Bob Andrews?
Imate kasetu od Boba Andrewsa, Odnos je sve?
You have it?
Imate.
That's a fantastic tape.
To je fantastična kaseta.
Don't matter what you do,
Bez obzira što radite,
if you're big in this industry
ako ste veliki u ovoj industriji
small,
ili mali,
you should listen to that tape
morate slušati tu kasetu.
over and over and over.
ponovno i ponovno i ponovno.
Because this business is 95%
Zato jer ovaj posao je 95%
attitude
odnos
and 5% knowledge.
i samo 5% znanje.
And I had problems with that in the beginning.
Ja sam imao problema s time na početku.
I told them, I have a good attitude,
Rekao sam, ja imam dobar odnos,
but this is a problem, this is a problem, and this is a problem.
ali to je problem i to je problem i to je problem.
Did I really have a good attitude?
Da li sam ja stvarno imao dobar odnos?
No, because if you have a good attitude,
Ne, zato jer ako imate dobar odnos,
you find a solution
pronađite rješenje
for the problem.
za problem.
I said, this might be a problem, but I'll come up with a solution for that.
Ovo bi mogao biti problem, ali doći ću ja s rješenjem.
That's to have a good attitude.
To je kad imate dobar odnos.
The person that has the best attitude
Osoba koja ima najbolji odnos
will in the future have the biggest business.
će u budućnosti imati najveći posao.
So decide for yourself if you want to have a good attitude.
Tako odlučite za sebe da li želite imati dobar odnos.
These guys here in the front tables,
Ovi unaprijed, za prvim stolovima,
they have an extremely good attitude.
imaju odličan odnos.
Peter has told me so much about you guys,
Peter mi je toliko govorio o vama
and he made some tapes up in Scandinavia
i snimio je neke kasete o vama u Skandinaviji,
talking about you guys.
govoreći o vama.
And we were just,
I mi smo samo gledali.
yeah, give yourself an applause.
Dajte si jedan aplauz.
Because when you build a business,
Zato jer kad gradite posao,
problems will occur.
problemi će se pojaviti.
Always.
Uvijek.
If you have a goal,
Ako imate cilj,
there will be problems.
bit će i problema.
If you set a goal today,
Ako postavite danas ciljeve,
you'll get an extra problem tomorrow.
dobit ćete nove probleme sutra.
How do I know?
Kako to znam?
Just happens.
Jednostavno se dogodilo.
I don't know why.
Ne znam zašto.
But if you come home tonight
Ali ako dođete danas doma
and you sit down with your wife,
i sjednete sa svojom suprugom
say, now let's set a goal.
i kažete daj sad idemo postaviti cilj.
Tomorrow,
Sutra
somebody will steal your car
će vam neko ukrasti auto.
or something like that.
Ili nešto takvo.
But one important thing,
Ali jedna važna stvar,
when you set a goal,
kad postavite cilj,
the people
ljudi
and the volume will appear.
i volumen će se pojaviti.
Always, when you have a goal,
Uvijek kad imate cilj,
the people will come,
ljudi dođu,
and so will the volume,
isto tako će i volumen.
and all the rest of the vital signs.
I svi ostali vitalni znakovi.
At least for the person that has a big goal
Barem za osobu koja ima jak cilj
and a good attitude.
i dobar odnos.
Then point number 9
Točka broj 9
is personal development.
je osobni razvoj.
That was one thing
To je bila jedna stvar
that I needed extremely much.
koju sam ja jako trebao.
As I said earlier,
Kao što sam prije rekao,
I was extremely afraid of talking to people
jako sam se bojao razgovarati s ljudima
because of my bad self-confidence.
zbog svog lošeg samopouzdanja.
Any one of you in here
Bilo ko od vas ovdje
can do what I've done
može uraditi ono što sam ja uradio
and come up to Stockholm and tell my group your story.
i doći u Štokholm i reći mojim ljudima vašu priču.
That would be good.
To je bilo odlično.
Maybe even a little bit better if you knew a few words of English.
Možda bi bilo još bolje da naučite par riječi engleskog.
But the way you guys are fired up, I
Ali
don't think
onako
it really matter.
kako ste zapaljeni i onako neće biti važno.
You... Yeah! Because it's all about excitement.
Zato jer sve je u oduševljenju.
Remember that.
Sjetite se toga.
Be excited, it's your future.
Budite oduševljeni, to je vaša budućnost.
It's very important.
To je vrlo važno.
Back to personal development.
Ponovno na osobni razvoj.
Every person when they get into this,
Svaka osoba koja uđe u ovaj posao,
I don't need to change.
ja se ne trebam promijeniti,
I have a perfect personality.
ja imam savršenu osobnost,
It's my group that needs to change.
moja grupa se treba promijeniti.
They need to work harder.
Oni moraju raditi čvršće,
Personal development.
osobna rast.
You've probably heard Peter in the beginning.
Vjerojatno ste čuli Petera na početku,
He had a lot of change to do.
on se mora puno promijeniti.
Jim told him,
Jim mu je rekao,
you can't headbutt the person when they say no,
možeš udariti osobu koja ti veli ne,
or kick them.
ili glavom ili nogom.
I don't know if you heard this story before.
Ne znam da ste već prije čuli tu priču.
He was telling us when the Scandinavian market opened,
Govorio nam je kad se otvorilo skandinavsko tržište,
when he was, I think he was Emerald,
mislim da kad je bio Emerald,
he was doing a home meeting,
radio je kućni plan
and somebody said something,
i netko je nešto rekao
And he went over. Da, 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 da.
I on je dotrčao do njega
And the guy on the other hand
i čovjek na drugoj strani je došao,
got a heart attack
dobio srčani
and fell off the chair.
i pao je sa stola.
So after that,
I poslije toga
he thought, maybe I have to be a little bit softer to people.
razmišljam možda bi morao biti malo mekši s ljudima.
Everybody has to change.
Svi se moramo promijeniti.
I was too soft.
Ja sam bio premekan.
When I showed the plan in the beginning,
Kad sam pokazivao plan na početku,
they said, I don't think this will work. Okay.
kad mi neko rekao neće djelovati, ok.
And I walked home.
I otišao sam doma.
That don't work.
To ne djeluje.
I was way too soft.
Bio sam previše mekan.
I was too kind.
Bio sam preljubazan.
People were kind of using me.
Ljudi su me na neki način iskorištavali.
I was trying to make everything good for everybody.
Pokušavao sam da sve bude dobro za sve.
And they were complaining about everything.
I oni su se žalili oko svega.
Why do we have the tapes?
Zašto imamo kasete?
Tapes are too expensive.
Kasete su preskupe
And so on and so on.
i tako dalje.
So I thought, okay, I'll buy the tapes for you.
Tako da sam rekao, ok, ja ću kupiti kasete za vas.
That don't work.
To ne djeluje.
Because when your group gets bigger,
Zato jer kad vaša grupa raste,
everybody starts coming to you to get, hey, I need some tapes too.
svi dolaze k vama i govore, ja trebam kasete.
Tell everybody, you buy your own tapes, it's your own future.
Govorite svima, recite svima, kupite svoje kasete, to je vaša budućnost.
So personal development.
Osobna rast.
You will become a better person,
Postaćete bolja osoba,
whether you be big in this industry,
bez obzira da ćete biti veliki u ovom poslu,
or your husband builds your business,
ili vaš muž izgradi posao,
or your wife,
ili vaša žena,
but you will become a better person
ali vi ćete postati bolja osoba
through listening to tapes
kroz slušanje kaseta
and reading books.
i čitanje knjiga.
And you will have a better family life.
I imat ćete bolji obiteljski život.
And that's also very important.
I to je isto vrlo važno.
Is there anybody in here with a bad self-confidence?
Da li je netko ovdje sa niskim samopoštovanjem?
Okay, now I'm going to be talking to you.
Sada ću govoriti vama.
When I grew up,
Kad sam ja odrastao,
I mentioned everybody was making fun of me
ja sam mislio da se svi smiju
because I
s menom.
because I couldn't read and write.
Zato nisam znao čitati ni pisati.
I don't know the English word for it,
Ne znam englesku riječ za to,
but we have a word in Swedish when you kind of like kids are putting down other kids.
ali u Švedskoj imamo riječ ono kad djeca se postavljaju na drugu djecu.
You probably know what I mean.
Vjerojatno, kad se djeca rugaju drugoj djeci, rugali su mi se.
Yeah, okay.
Ok.
So I was one of those kids
Ja sam bio jedno od takvih djeteta
that was put down every day.
na kojem su se svaki dan rugali.
And you know what happens to your self-confidence after a couple of years of that?
I znate što se desi sa vašim samopoštovanjem nakon par mjeseci, godina toga?
It's zero.
0.
You feel like you're not worth anything.
Mislite da ne vrijedite ništa.
If somebody would come up to me
Kad bi meni neko došao
and say something like, why have you done like this?
i kad mi rekao zašto si to tako uradio,
I would probably start crying.
ja bih vjerojatno počeo plakati.
That's how poor my self-confidence was.
Toliko nisko je bilo moje samopoštovanje.
But when I got in this business,
Ali kad sam ušao u ovaj posao,
my self-confidence was almost as bad.
moje samopoštovanje je bilo skoro toliko loše.
It got a little bit better because I got through school.
Postalo je malo bolje kad sam prošao kroz školu.
But through the educational system that we have,
Ali kroz edukacijski sistem koji smo mi imali,
that I've been able to grow up a little bit,
bilo mi je omogućeno da malo rastem,
get a little bit better self-confidence.
da malo popravim samopoštovanje.
You that are sitting in the back,
Vi koji sjedite od traga,
you thought I could never do this.
mislili bi da ja nikad ne mogu to uraditi.
That's exactly what I said.
To je točno ono što sam ja mislio.
But I read in the book,
Ali pročitao sam u knjizi,
if you face your fear,
ako se suočite s vašim strahom,
your fear will disappear.
vaš strah će nestati.
Extremely important.
Veoma važno.
Write that down.
Zapišite si to.
Everyone in here has some kind of fear.
Svatko ovdje ima nekakav strah.
Well, at least I think so.
Ili bar mislim tako.
But the way you're growing, I don't know.
Ali onako kako vi rastete, ne znam.
But the ones that were not on stage, they have a fear.
Ali oni koji nisu bili na bini, oni se boje.
And if you'll face up to that fear,
I ako se suočite s tim strahom,
it will disappear.
on će nestati.
I have a fear of the phone in the beginning.
Ja sam se bojao telefona na početku.
It took me 2 hours to make one phone call.
Trebalo su mi 2 sata da napravim prvi telefonski poziv.
I was locked in my room at home,
Zaključio sam se u sobu kod kuće
and my girlfriend was knocking. Are you okay?
i moja djevojka je kucala, jesi
What
dobro?
are you doing in there?
Što radiš unutra?
I just said, leave me alone.
Ja sam samo rekao, ostavi na miru.
I'm preparing a phone call.
Pripremam se za telefonski poziv.
After 2 hours,
Nakon 2 sata
I said, yippee!
sam rekao, jupi!
I got an appointment.
Dobio sam sastanak, dogovor.
I was fired up.
Bio sam zapaljen.
After 2 hours of preparing,
Nakon 2 sata pripreme,
I was able to make the phone call,
bio sam spreman napraviti telefonski poziv.
and I got the appointment.
I dobio sam sastanak.
He didn't join.
Nije se pridružio.
But my fear disappeared a little bit.
Ali moj strah je malo nestao.
It got a little bit better.
Postoje malo bolji.
And I did it over and over and over.
I radio sam to ponovno i ponovno i ponovno.
And soon it got better and better and better.
Tako dugo dok nisam postao bolji i bolji i bolji.
Today I could call almost anybody.
Danas mogu pozvati bilo koga.
But that's just because I made a lot of phone calls.
Ali to je samo zato jer sam napravio puno telefonskih poziva.
And I've got a lot of no's.
I dobio sam puno puta ne.
Peter told me,
Peter mi je rekao,
if you want to have a big business,
ako želiš imati velik posao,
you need to get a lot of no's.
moraš dobiti puno puta ne.
If you don't get any no's,
Ako ne dobiješ ne,
you're not showing the plan enough.
to znači da ne pokažeš dovoljan broj puta plan.
So I think it's the same here.
Mislim da je i ovdje jednako.
Or does everybody join here?
Ili se ovdje svi pridružuju,
Okay. Just keep showing and you'll find the right ones.
samo pokažite plan i naći ćete najbolje.
You have to believe in yourself
Morate vjerovati u sebe
and your future.
i vašu budućnost.
You have an extremely good opportunity
Imate iznimno dobru mogućnost
to get an unbelievable future.
da dobite veliku budućnost.
We all have.
Svi mi imamo.
We're in the best business in the world.
Mi smo u najboljem poslu na svijetu.
Don't let anybody tell you anything else.
Nemojte se dozvoliti da vam bilo što veli.
Okay, so your family life is extremely important.
Život vaše obitelji je veoma važan.
As I told in the leaders meeting,
Kao što sam govorio na sastanku lidera,
the most fragile person in your business
najvažnija osoba u vašem poslu
is your fiancé, wife, or whatever.
je vaš zaručnik, zaručnica, supruga.
I'm an example of that.
Ja sam primjer toga.
The reason why I'm not emerald today
Razlog zašto ja nisam emerald danas,
is because me and my girlfriend been fighting too much.
zato jer smo se ja i moja zaručnica puno svađali.
I've been trying her to do things
Ja sam pokušavao ju nagovoriti da radi neke stvari
that she didn't want to do.
koje ona nije htjela uraditi.
Anybody can relate?
Da li se može neko poistovjetiti?
Okay. That's just how we are.
Jer tako je jednostavno to.
Be proud whatever the husband or the wife is doing,
Budite ponosni na to što vaš suprug ili supruga rade
and you just work harder
i vi samo radite čvršće.
because it's your future.
Zato jer je vaša budućnost u pitanju.
Together.
Zajedno.
Very important.
Veoma važno.
Because otherwise you start arguing over dumb stuff.
Jer inače se počnete svađati oko glupih stvari.
Okay, point number 10,
Točka broj 10.
vital signs.
Vitalni znakovi.
All the vital signs.
Svi vitalni znakovi.
Because your PV
Zato jer vaš PV
is temporary.
je privremen.
At least in Scandinavia,
Barem u Skandinaviji
we start at 0 every first of the month.
počinjemo s nulom svakog mjeseca.
Same here?
Isto i ovdje? Da.
Okay. So the PV you have to build up every month.
PV moramo graditi svaki mjesec.
But the vital signs are forever.
Ali vitalni znakovi su za uvijek.
If you're building a house,
Ako gradite kuću,
you could put pieces of brick on top of each other.
postavite osnovu dole, kamenje.
Cement.
Cement.
Yeah.
Temelje, postavite temelje.
Okay. And the bricks, if you don't put any cement in between,
I ako ne stavite cement između,
soon as the wind blows,
čim vjetar puhne,
it will all blow over.
sve će odnesti.
But the vital signs,
Ali vitalni znakovi,
that's your cement.
to je vaš cement.
If you build it on vital signs,
Ako gradite na vitalnim znakovima,
the building you're putting together today,
građevina koju danas radite,
there's no hurricane in the world
nema tog hurikana na svijetu
that could blow that away.
koji može to odnijeti, uragana.
That's the way you build a stable future.
To je način na koji gradite stabilnu budućnost.
For all the new people that are here,
Za sve nove ljude koji su ovdje,
you maybe think I'm looking a little bit nervous.
mislite da ja izgledam malo nervozno?
I'm extremely.
Ja sam jako nervozan.
This is the first time I'm doing this type of meeting.
To je prvi puta da ja radim jedan od ovakvih seminara.
I've done meetings before,
Radio sam već prije susrete
like NDO for our own group,
kao NDO za svoju grupu.
but it's not nearly as big as this.
Niti približno toliko veliko kao ovo.
So if you
Tako da ako vi
follow the points I was talking about,
slijedite točke o kojima sam govorio,
you're going to be able to do this
bit ćete spremni da uradite to
and a lot more.
i mnogo još više.
This is my first time,
Ovo je moj prvi put
and I've done some mistakes,
i napravio sam nekoliko grešaka,
but I will do better next time.
ali sljedeći puta ću biti bolji.
One more word.
Još jedna riječ.
Okay.
U redu, ne možete jače.
I want to thank the translator
Želim se zahvaliti prevodiocu
for absolutely fantastic job.
za...
Give him a round of applause.
Hvala
And I want
svim drugima,
Boris and Bayana,
Borisu i Bojani,
Bobkan and Sisia,
Cici i Bogdanu, Mitja i Mojca.
and Mitja and
Mojca.
Moja for having me come in here
Za to što su me doveli ovdje
for the first time.
po prvi puta
And I hope to see you guys soon again.
i nadam se da ću vas uskoro vidjeti
And next time I'll do a better job.
i sljedeći puta ću biti bolji.